Welcome to the Amp Shop. Tonight on the bench we have the ass end of an LG 22-inch video monitor, digital video monitor. This is the power supply unit for it, otherwise known as switch mode power supply, or SMPS. This one's a pretty simple one, at least on this side. And flip it over and there's a lot of circuitry here. So normally under most circumstances this is not something you repair. You call a factory, you get a part, you replace it, okay? But in this instance, for this monitor, and this is a factory authorized repair, the capacitors here go bad, they've been replaced. Just spent a good hour taking this apart and replacing these capacitors. The capacitors here are not your garden variety and they're not cheap, but it's worth the shot when the monitor costs $200 or more. It's still a good deal to just give it a try. So I have one more here I'm going to swap out. Maybe two actually. I'll probably take this one and swap it out. Again, they're not cheap capacitors, so it's not something you can even get at Radio Shack or anything like that. They don't have that. And if you're not good at soldering, again, you really don't want to attempt this because there's, easily destroyed. It's basically what I'm going to say. So that's the story, and I'm about halfway through, and we'll come back and we'll see if the monitor works in a few minutes. I'm going to slam this all together and tape it shut. Believe it or not, tape it shut. It's held on with 4 screws, but the case clamps down like a mother, and it's a real bugger to take apart if you don't know how. Anyway, here you go. Alright, so here's the power supply back on the back of the unit. And it's real important to make sure that when you remove this shield that you return it back to its proper place, or you'll have some noise on the screen if you don't. It seems like a stupid part that just sits here, but it really does something. And it shields the screen and it keeps it from having interference, which causes a lot of problems in the video screen. And this actually solves that. So always remember, if you take this shield off, you got to put it back on. It just fastens with 2 pieces of tape, and it clips in on the back of the power supply shield. And there you have it. And another part that you really want to make sure you pay close attention here is this is the power switch, and this becomes dislodged from the clips that hold it on the back here. And you won't be able to, turn the power on. You want to make sure that that switch is actuating and works properly, and that the power switch connector is seated properly in the multi-way. Also, for the adjustment switches, to make sure that that PC board is seated properly, and that you've seated the interface and power supply properly to the connector. Make sure all that's seated and tight, and then you'll be ready to put the back on. And there you go. LG, nothing like it. Blue light says go.